Well, if however you hold your fastball, right? So if you hold your four seam with the horseshoe on the right side, okay? Or if you hold your four seam with the horseshoe on the left side, I want you to hold that same grip with your middle two fingers, right? So for me, I go with the horseshoe closest to my middle finger. So therefore, when I throw the circle change, I go then middle finger, index finger on that same side. Now, dependent upon how big your fingers are and how big your hands are, it's going to look a little bit different. But for me, I always liked feedback on my fingertips and the crevices of my fingers, right? That was the big thing for me, is I liked feeling either the seam in the crevices of my fingers, whoa, words are fun, or on the fingertips. You can see how I got all these, like, my nails are all cut up. But the simplest approach to throwing a good changeup, I think, especially at that age, is it's your fastball with just your middle two fingers, and remove the index finger from the ball. Right. So the more that we remove the index finger from the ball, the more speed differential we can get. Now, when you throw this, especially at your age, I don't want to emphasize that it's a changeup, that it's a new pitch. Just get a grip that's like, okay, that's comfortable, right? Or whatever that grip looks like for you, that's comfortable. And now I'm just going to throw it with a clear mind, with limited expectations, and see what we get. For me, it's always been more comfortable when I throw like a circle change like this to have my thumb on the side of the ball and then my index finger on the side of the thumb. That allows me to remove it. Some people feel more comfortable with the thumb underneath the baseball. And a lot of that's going to depend on how you feel throwing the four seam as well. I throw the four seam, with my thumb kind of to the side of it. Some people throw it with the tucked. Some people throw it with straight under. So a lot of that's going to depend on you. But the easiest grip that I could show from a changeup perspective is middle two, like a four seam, index off or slightly touching the side, and then ring finger on the side of that. So when I throw this ball, it's going to come off these middle two, and it's even going to split a little bit here, and it's going to create the axis that's going to then go whoop, arm side, right? And I don't want you to think like, when you think, a lot of people, when they think changeup, they think like turn it over, super aggressive internal rotation, like turn it over. That's going to happen naturally, right? So you don't have to overthink that. Okay. So now another thing that you can look at, if you're somebody that's like wanting more movement on the changeup, because that's something I always struggled with too when I threw this four seam. It was a good pitch for me to get people off my heater, but it didn't move a lot, so I wasn't missing a lot of bats. Another thing you can do is do that same thing in terms of the middle two fingers, like with your four seam, and just go to the two seam. So then this two seam, and again, I'm different than you maybe in terms of how I like my fingertips feeling seam here. But if I can put my fingertips on those seams there, now I can have a seam for my thumb, boom, and now I'm here. And I can feel as I come off release that I'm not over manipulating it, because I'm staying true and I'm staying through this baseball, and I'm feeling that the ball is leaving as I press those two fingers off that seam. Even though that's not really like reality, it's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is you're going to come into throw, and you're going to start to then pronate internal rotation of the shoulder, and it's actually going to come off like that, which is then going to give you like this one seam axis, which then will amplify the movement of it due to the spinning on that one seam orientation instead of like the four seam. Four seam, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to make the ball move a lot when it's a four seam. So like I said, I'll include a lot more context for like changeup grip stuff. And we can go back and forth too. I love talking like pitch grips and stuff. So that was a luxury that I didn't have when I was younger. And I suffered from it when I turned pro, was not having a changeup, because in high school I just used like fastball, curveball, slider, and it was like no one could touch it. Why would I throw a changeup that doesn't really move? It's like high school speed. And then when I got to pro ball, like, holy smokes, I needed that changeup, and I didn't have it. And it took me like 3 or 4 years to get one. So if we can emphasize that now, especially at 16, even if it's not good, but just having it in the back pocket and get guys off your heater, it's going to just continuously get better. The biggest thing from developing a changeup is, same thing with like the mechanics, right? Foundation, comfort of the grip is going to be the biggest thing. Just so there's no subconscious thought that like, oh, this is comfortable, I have no idea where this is going. in the beginning, find your comfort with a particular change-up grip by exactly like where we're at here in this video, like throwing just against that net and be like, okay, that feels comfortable. All right, that feels comfortable. And then once you get that comfort, then you can start to play around with. Then you can start to play around with some cues like dragging the back foot, right? Biggest thing is you don't want to get pushy with the changeup. And the reason why people get pushy with the changeup is because they're consciously thinking it's a changeup and they want to slow it down. They get kind of shot putty. Fastball, 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 changeup grip. And that's going to allow you to come through the path of your hand naturally, and you're going to get that extension. If we get this same extension that we do here in this throw on a changeup, bro, that thing's going to be nasty. It's going to be fastball, 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 and then changeup bite late, right? All right, dude. So, all right, dudes, Robby Rowe here. Thank you for watching that video. If you're interested in booking your own mechanical analysis, you can click that link right there. Also tell you a little bit about the service and what it entails. Hit that link right there. Subscribe, please. You can also check out that video right there, which is related to the video that you just watched if you want to get some more context on that. All right, guys. Much love. God bless. Till next time. See ya.
Strike three! You're out!